In the previous class, we have completed our section 5, which is mainly relating to the controlling area concepts. And we concluded in the previous lecture about the cost accounting. So with topic number 61, default account assignment for cost center and profit center. So we concluded everything. Now we are into the section 6. Section 6 out of 40 sections. Section 6 deals with the currency types, ledgers, accounting principles. So what exactly you are going to learn in this section 6 is currency types. First of all, what is currency type? In currency types, there are two currencies are available. So one is local currency, another one is the global currency. So in SAP system, local currency will always be defined as, for example, 10, and group currency or global currency. You can I can say that global currency it is. So global currency was defined as example 30. Not only example, so it is predefined in SAP system. Currency types were predefined in SAP system as local currency with 10 and global currency with 30. So we will configure all these currency types. And regarding these ledgers, you have to understand what exactly the meaning of ledger. Here I'm explaining you. So what exactly in SAP system ledgers are meant for. In SAP system, there are two types of ledgers. One is leading ledger. Leading ledger. So this leading ledger can be called as 0L, not OL, it is a 0L. So this is the standard ledger defined in SAP system by the SAP company. And another ledger is there, that is called non-leading ledger. We can say it as a NL, non-leading ledger. Okay. So these two will be considered as standard ledgers. Leading ledger and non-leading ledgers, these two will be considered as standard ledgers. Standard ledgers. So this standard ledger is one category, wherein again there are two categories in standard ledgers. One is leading ledger, another one is non-leading ledger. Again there is another category called, that is second category is called extension ledger. This extension ledger is second one. Also you can call this as an appendix ledger. Appendix ledger. So we can say that ledgers in SAP system as two types. One is standard ledger, another one is extension ledger. In standard ledger, again two subcategories. One is leading ledger, another one is non-leading ledger. In extension ledger, there are no subcategories, so we can call this extension ledger as appendix ledger. What is the main purpose of these ledgers? I will explain you. So in case of leading ledger, that is 0L, it is mainly meant for the statutory reporting, wherein one accounting principle will only be assigned. So this is called one accounting principle will be assigned. One accounting principle, this is called primary accounting principle. But in case of non-leading ledger, this is also meant for the reporting purpose like leading ledger, but wherein two or more accounting principles can be assigned, and mainly not for statutory reporting purpose. And these non-leading ledgers can be used for local reporting. local gap purpose or local tax purpose. So that is the reason one company or one company code should have standard leading ledger, and apart from that main statutory leading ledger, they can have additional ledgers. Those additional ledgers can be called as non-leading ledgers. Again, you have to remember each ledger, whatever ledger it is, whether leading ledger or non-leading ledger, they should be assigned with the accounting principles. So here the concept is very clear. You have to define the leading ledger in our configuration, and then you have to assign the one accounting principle. In the same way, you have to define additional ledgers called non-leading ledgers in our SAP system, and two or more accounting principles should be assigned with these non-leading ledgers. This leading ledger is also for reporting purpose. This is also for reporting purpose, but which is optional. But this leading ledger is mandatory because that follows the primary accounting principle. But non-leading ledger is meant for the local gap requirement or local taxes requirement. Simply saying, in our business scenario, based on in our earlier scenarios, so I can say that leading ledger will be for one accounting principle, right? This one accounting principle is none other than US GAAP. I can say that this is based on US GAAP because US GAAP is the US company, parent company accounting principle. So that is the main statutory requirement. And regarding non-leading ledger, so this is for UK company. That is for local tax reporting. For UK, we can assign two or more accounting principles. Even only one accounting principle also we can assign. So regarding UK, we can call it as a GAGB. GAGB. So you can call it as a GAGB accounting principle. And even you can assign any other accounting principle for this non-leading ledger. So appendix ledger, what is the exact purpose of this appendix ledger? Yes, the purpose of appendix ledger is only meant for adjustments. Adjustments only will be done in this appendix ledger, so that it only stores the adjustment entries only. Unlike leading ledger, non-leading ledger, appendix ledger will only store the adjustments. Leading ledger will store all the data. Non-leading ledger will also store all the data. But appendix ledger will store only adjustments related to the leading ledger, that is 0L. So this is concept. This is the exact concept relating to the ledger, and even in case of these ledgers, we can use another word called parallel accounting. Whenever there is a word called parallel accounting is used in this lecture, in this session, then it means multiple accounting principles are used there. I can say that in case of leading ledger, US GAAP. In case of non-leading ledger, GAGB UK. So there are two accounting principles. We can say that these ledgers are following parallel accounting. So because two or more accounting principles, that is, if multiple accounting principles are used for reporting purpose, whether it may be statutory reporting purpose or local reporting purpose, if a particular company is using two or more accounting principles, whether it in a leading ledger or non-leading ledger, then we should call it as a parallel accounting. Whenever you hear the word called parallel accounting in ledger, it means two or more accounting principles, that is multiple accounting principles are involved for reporting purpose. So this is the concept about the ledger. So regarding accounting principles, so just now I explained you these ledgers along with the accounting principles. Once ledgers are created, that must be assigned with the accounting principles. Once leading ledger is created, so that must be assigned with the one primary accounting principle, that is in our scenario US GAAP. Okay, so this is the introduction about the section 6, and regarding topics involved in section 6. So we have business scenario, and after that currency types configuration will be done, currency conversion settings for the company codes will be done, and in case of exchange rates, how it will be configured in SAP system, that I will show you now. So leading ledger, that is 0L, parallel accounting, so multiple accounting principles are involved here. So accounting principle, what exactly the accounting principle is. In the same way, in case of non-leading ledger, and the same assigned with the accounting principle. And once leading and non-leading ledgers are covered under topic 66 and 67, so those ledgers will be always under the respective ledger group. So the fun thing here is, whenever you create the leading ledger or non-leading ledger in SAP system, then you are not at all required to create the ledger group. The reason is, automatically as an extension, ledger groups will be created. Whenever if you create the leading ledger, then automatically ledger group will be created within the SAP system. In the same way, whenever you created non-leading ledger, automatically ledger group will be created, and the same can be dealt along with its assignment with the accounting principle. So that we will see in topic 68, and assignment of multiple accounting principles to the non-leading ledger, how it will be configured. And in case of 70 appendix ledger, that is called extension ledger, and we will see the adjustments, how they will be posted, in appendix ledger based on leading ledger, and its assignment with the accounting principle configuration will be done here. And 71 is the summary of all this. Now come to the business scenario for this section 6 is, besides Great Britain pound as a local currency, so this is the UK, okay, for the TUK1 company code. The company also wants to set up US dollar as a group or global currency. So for GBP local currency, you can select as 10. As I stated here, so local currency will be always 10 in SAP system, global currency will be always 30. So you can set this. You can ensure that whether these are there in the within the SAP system. If not there, then you can set this 10 and US dollar as 30. The company comes to know that SAP is recommending a ledger approach and wants to know more about it. Actually, here whenever parallel accounting is there, in parallel accounting there are two concepts will be followed. One is ledger approach, another one is accounts approach. But in SAP S/4HANA, majority of the companies are following ledger approach only. So even in our discussion also, we will follow the ledger approach only. So what is the major difference between ledger approach and accounts approach? I will tell you later in detail in this lecture. As the increasing importance of IAS, that is International Accounting Standards. This is not an Indian accounting standard. So the abbreviation is IAS. IAS is meant for the International Accounting Standards or International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. As the increasing importance of IAS or IFRS as accounting principles heightens the need for improved quality and modeling of segment reporting. So the management wants to set up the ledger with different accounting principles, that is UK GAAP and IFRS. So now our management, as per the business scenario, is asking us to follow different accounting principles, that is UK GAAP and IFRS. That is the reason we are going to use this multiple accounting principles. The management wants to set up multiple ledgers also to portray the parallel accounting with a different fiscal year and posting period than the company code. So regarding different fiscal year and posting period variants, so company wanted to follow the multiple ledgers. So that means leading ledger and non-leading ledger, that is called multiple ledgers. So which comes under parallel accounting category. Okay, this is the business scenario. Now come to this 63 currency types. Regarding configuration, the currency type specifies the role of currency in SAP system. The local and parallel currency option is available into the SAP system through currency types. Example, 10 is for local currency and 30 is the group currency. This is what I explained you. Again, remember these words, company code currency. That is, in case of TUK1, what is the company code currency? Local currency. That is the GBP. And the document currency must be stored in the data entry view if you define custom currency type for your company code. So if you define the custom currency type for your company code, that is for, take for example 10 for the local currency, then GBP will be seen on the document. Okay, that is called entry view. SAP has provided predefined currency types. So there are different types of currencies. Among them, we are mainly using local currency and group currency. In SAP ECC, that is older version of ECC, we are following now SAP S/4HANA, right? In SAP ECC, transaction code OB22 was used to set up additional local currencies for company code, which is now replaced with a transaction code FinC_ledger in SAP S/4HANA. So remember this FinC_ledger. So previously in older version OB22 was used, but now FinC_ledger. This is the T code used in SAP S/4HANA for setting up the additional local currencies for company code. Or otherwise, if you want to follow the menu path, you can use this menu path. As this is the configuration part, you have to go to the display MG screen by entering the SPRO. So in that, you have to select the financial accounting. Again, in financial accounting, there is a financial accounting global settings. In that global settings, there are ledgers. Again, in ledgers, there is a ledger, and in ledger, you can check this define settings for define. You have to define the settings, right? So define the settings for what? For ledgers and for currency types. Here I am talking about two things. One is about the ledger, another one is about the currency types. So here you are going to define the settings for these ledgers and currency types. And again, configure global currency conversion settings, define currency conversion settings for company codes. Here you have to configure global currency conversion settings also for the global reporting. And also you have to define the currency conversion settings for company codes. We have company codes, right? For company codes we have to define the currency conversion settings for company codes. So if you use this transaction code FinC_ledger, or if you follow this menu path, then you will get this screen. In this screen, there are different currency types are available. So that is this is the folder currency types, right? Here you can see currency types. So there are different currency types are available. Add position button is also there. So if you want, you can go through new entries also. You have to confirm whether company code currency 10 is there and 30 is there group currency, that is global currency. You have to confirm this whether it is there or not. Now go to the I can use a FinC_ledger, but here I am using menu path. Go to the SAP reference AMG. Go to the financial accounting. In this financial accounting global settings, again there is a ledgers. In ledgers there is a ledger. In this define settings for ledgers and currency types is there. Deactivate a ledger for a company code. Define ledger group. Number range maintenance for ADB, move and merge. So these are there. But now I want to execute this one. Define settings for ledgers and currency types. So confirm. Ignore these warnings. Ignore means you can enter continue button, tick mark, or you can enter button on the keyboard. Okay. So even if you enter Fincy underscore ledger, you will get this screen only. Okay. Here you can see that. So this is relating to the currency types, right? So what are the currency types available? Just now I explained you. So there are different currency types available, but majorly we are focusing on two types of currency. One is 10 local currency and another one is 30 global currency. So that is the reason here the currency types is none other than local and global currency. Okay, local and global currency. So here you can confirm whether local and global currency is available or not. Okay, here by default it is on ledger. Okay, you can double click on this currency types. Okay, you can check here whether 10 is there. Yes, it is there. Is it 30 is there? Yes, it is there. So no need to create by new entries. Okay, now go to the in currency types configuration. Now go to the global currency conversion settings. You have to confirm whether these three currency types also there in case of global currency conversion settings, because here it is mentioned. So configure global currency conversion settings, right? So after that define currency conversion settings for company codes. Now go to this global currency conversion settings. Double click on this folder, global currency conversion settings. So here you have to ensure that yes, 10 company code currency, 20 controlling area currency, 70 controlling object currency. Yes, it is there. So no need to do anything here. In the same way, now you have to go to this currency conversion settings for company codes. So this one, currency conversion settings for company codes. So this one, currency conversion settings for company codes. Double click on this. Ignore warnings. Here, currency conversion settings for company codes are there or not? You can check here. We have 4 company codes, right? So you can check from here company code. You can enter TUK1. Yes, it is not there. So that is the reason you have to create it by new entries. Another company TUS1. So currency conversion settings are not there for our company codes, right? So that's why we have to now create through new entries. So go to the new entries. Company code is TUK1. Go to new entries. Now company code enter TUK1. So here the currency is for TUK1. Here the currency is currency or valuation type. Currency or valuation type is select from the drop down menu. Group currency, hard currency, index based currency, global currency. Here select the group currency. So currency type will come automatically. Here also company name will come automatically once we enter the same. So after filling these fields, then only you enter, then only click on enter button. So currency here is, again you can select from here. Or you can leave this, it's not mandatory. Source currency type is, this is the local currency. Okay, so that is the reason you can select the local currency. So company code currency 10. Exchange rate type, you need to mention M. M is the standard translation at average rate. Here not transaction date, this one is a translation. Okay, translation type is translation date. We have to select the translation date. Like that you need to enter for all company codes. For the TUS1 and enter 30, enter 10, and again select the M. Always use unless and until your management is saying any other exchange rate type, you need to select the standard translation at average rate, that is M. So translation date, click on enter button. So automatically, so this description will come, right? In the same way for TDE1, 30, 10, translation date, TCN1, 30, 10, M, translation date. Now click on enter button. So TCN1, an entry already exists with the same key. So this was already there. That is the reason it is showing error. So that's the reason you can remove this, because already it is there. You can check that one also. Now you can save it. Currency conversion settings for company codes. Define currency conversion settings for company codes. So even though we have done the same for all company codes, but you can enter here only TUK1. Now, so this part is completed. So this one completed, and if you want to check whether TCN1 is there or not, you can check by going to this position button, TCN1. Just go back. Yes, here you can check. Yes, it is there. Okay. So TUK1 it is there. So already TCN1 is there. Okay. Yes, now come to the exchange rates. So here you have to go through this path. SAP NetWeaver. SAP NetWeaver is there. But SAP NetWeaver word is there in older version. Instead of SAP NetWeaver, so now they have given ABAP platform. So you have to go to the ABAP platform, wherein you have to select this general settings. Under general settings, currencies will be there. In that, enter exchange rates will be there. Okay. So go back. Here you can see ABAP platform. The SAP NetWeaver is now renamed as a ABAP platform. So click on this node. Here you can select the general settings. In general settings, currencies will be there. In currencies, enter exchange rates is there. So this is our 65th topic, exchange rates configuration. So now execute on this enter exchange rates. Here there are different exchange rates are already showing it is. So now what we have to do means you have to enter through new entries. Okay, so now I'm entering into the new entries. So exchange rate you can take it as a average rate. Okay, that is M, standard translation at average rate. So this is nothing but exchange rate type. So valid from which date? So it is asking us date. Yes, we have selected fiscal year 2024. So now I'm going to take so for example November 10th. November 10th means you have to enter in a month first, that is November 10th I want. So 10 2025 2000 sorry 2024, this one. So valid from indirect quote, it is asking ratio from or from direct quote ratio to or to. So what exactly this means? So now let me tell you. Here we are going to configure the exchange rates, right? So what exactly the meaning of exchange rates in international transactions means? Assume that our UK company is in UK, right? And our UK company has received from our parent company, so particular invoice in US dollar. So UK company received invoice in US dollar. Now what UK company will do now? UK company will convert this to US dollar to Great Britain pound, right? GBP. So from US dollar to Great Britain pound, they want to convert now. For this conversion process, there involves two types of quotes in international market. So one is a direct quote DQ, another one is indirect quote IDQ. So what UK company has to do now means they have to configure in SAP system either direct quote exchange rate or remember this, or indirect quote exchange rate. Direct quote means converting from US dollars to the Great Britain pound. What is the exchange rate? Indirect quote means converting from Great Britain pound to US dollars. Then what is the exchange rate? Now I will show you the direct quote exchange rate as of now. Okay. Go to this xe.com, wherein you can select the amount is $1. Okay. From you have to select US dollar, and two you have to select a Great Britain pound GBP. So you can see here $1 is equal to 0.78812592 British pounds. But when it comes to the opposite side, that is, if you click on this symbol, then it will give you from GBP to US dollar how much it will be. So 1 British pound is equal to 1.2688328 US dollars. So this is indirect code and this is direct code. So think that our UK company has received the invoice in US dollar and wanted to convert them into local currency GBP. Then they can use how much is the per unit of foreign currency, how much is the local currency is available. So 1 unit of foreign currency means $1. For $1, British pounds will be 0.78812592 will be available. So that is the meaning of this. So SAP system will accept until decimal points of 5 numbers only. So that is the reason you have to take a 0.78812. Okay. So now I'm using indirect code. Okay. So sorry, direct code. So that is the reason indirect code. From means I have to convert from the US dollar. So we have to select US dollars. To means to GBP I want to convert. You have to select GBP. And wanted to give direct quote exchange rate. I want to give the settings with exchange rate direct quote. So now it is 0.78761, 5 digits, 0.78761 you can take. Now enter. Now it is showing error, right? So the reason of showing error is might be there is a system configuration for this point something. Just I will check it. You can go to the new GUI window, open new GUI window, and remember this T code SU01, SU01, enter. Then give your user ID only. So my user ID is S25 SAP GUI 24. This is my user ID. Okay. Now click on this display. So go to the defaults. Here you can see decimal notification is given like 1. This notation was taken as in this format 1000 1 comma 234 comma 567.89. So this is the format. In the same way here date format also taken as a, by default it is a month, date and year format. So these are already configured by server provider on your username. Okay. So in my system it is showing right now as I have to select 0.89 point. We have to enter point. So I entered point only. So then now why it is showing error? So this is not error. Okay. So try to save it. Yes, data was saved. Yeah, it is not error because it is slightly in orange color, I think so, not in fully reddish color. So I will show you error also. It will be like 0.78 760 760. Okay, if we enter, yes, now input must be in the format of this one. Okay, so this we have sometimes in your system. Today I changed this notation to 0.89. Actually it was in comma decimal is in this format, in this first format. So but today I changed it into this. You can change this, just select this and close it, automatically it will be saved. Okay, that is the reason changed by me, that is my user id and today date, right? So date it is showing wrong, but today only I changed it. Actually today is the March 3rd actually, so it is showing wrong. But anyway, actually maybe it is showing other timing only. You can change it. So using this SU01. So for now, whatever I entered, it is accepted, right? You can give either direct quote or indirect quote. Only one you have to give. Already my changes were saved. Okay. So this is the configuration part. You can close this. This is all about exchange rates. So in here, if you enter like this, then it can accept or reject based on your user settings. So you have to check that one. Now come to this 66 topic. So here I am going to explain you about the leading ledger 0L, parallel accounting GL, accounting principle, all these configurations. So as I already explained to you in this lecture, at the start of the lecture, about the ledger configuration and accounting principles, right? So now the new ledger architecture in SAP S for HANA Finance is, there is a standard ledger. So in this standard ledger, there is a leading ledger 0L is there, and in this standard ledger there is a non-leading ledger is there. Apart from that, there is another ledger. So this is called Appendix Ledger. So new ledger architecture in SAP S for HANA Finance is like this. This I already explained you, and if you come in deep about this leading ledger, then you can see here. So 0L, leading ledger 0L. The leading ledger concept remains the same. That is, there must be exactly one leading ledger. So only one leading ledger, which is 0L by default, to be assigned to all company codes. This will be assigned to all company codes, because this is very simple. The reason is, here I will explain you, as our main group company is in US, right? So there are other company codes, right? US company is following what? Is following 0L, that is main leading ledger, right? So this will be assigned to UK company, China company, Germany company. So only one leading ledger will be there. Only one leading ledger. So that is what here it is explaining you. It cannot be deactivated. You cannot deactivate the leading ledger because this is the system default one. It defines the document number, that is field BELNR for all ledgers, and contains a full set of line items in table AC Docker. In table AC Docker, there is a full set of line items will be appeared for this leading ledger. So it stores each and every entered information. It is also the source for actual controlling data, CO data, that is assigned to actual version 0. In maintain version, we have used the version 0, that is the SAP recommended version for preparation of the financial statements. So for preparation of financial statements, so it will be useful. In financial accounting, you have to specify at least one currency for ledgers to be managed, that is local and global currency. So at least you have to assign one currency. You can configure even up to 8 freely defined currencies per company and ledger in addition. So apart from this, at least one currency in the entire SAP system, you can even define another 8 freely defined currencies that I will show you now. Transaction code here is also FinC underscore ledger, or you can use this menu path. So menu path is display IMG financial accounting, under financial accounting global settings, and there is a ledger. In that ledgers, the ledgers, in that there is a ledger. In that define settings for ledgers and currency types. Now we have to go this define settings for ledgers and currency types. Go back. So go to this financial accounting global ratings, and we are in ledgers and ledger. Define settings for ledgers and currency types. So execute this one. If you execute this same, then you will be landed on the screen, wherein by default it is connected in the left side on a ledger. So here you can see, so there are different ledgers available, right? So by default there is a 0L, right? Ledger 0L. This is the leading ledger. So 0L is the leading ledger, right? That's the reason it is marked with a tick mark. And it is a standard ledger. As I already explained you, this is a standard ledger. This is not an extension ledger. Appendix ledger will be the extension ledger. So manual postings not allowed. By default it is there. Accounting principle of ledger is also not available here. So now what we have to do means, you have to check this and go to the company code settings for the ledger. Before that, you have to know this. This ledger is created by the SAP. So this is the by standard default ledger created by the SAP. Your company must be assigned to this ledger. So whatever company is there, that is TUS1 or TUK1, all of them should be assigned compulsorily to this ledger. Before GRL assignment, you have to know that accounting principle can be assigned at a ledger level. So before leading ledger assignment, you have to know that accounting principle can be assigned at a even ledger level also. Okay. So now go to this company code settings for the ledger. So select this 0L and go to this, double click on this company code settings for the ledger. Ignore warnings. Here you have to confirm whether our company is assigned with 0L. So company means our company code TUK1. So go to the position, enter TUK1. So TUK1 here it is showing, yes, local currency it is there 10 and global currency it is 30. So here you can add up to 8 free defined currencies, right? So in our example, for TUK1 local currency, we are using 10. For global currency reporting, we are using 30. But in the same, you can add up to 8 free currencies here. But for the time being, I am not adding anything. And fiscal year variant is ZA, so which was already assigned. Posting period variant ZAB1. And accounting principle, it is not there. First FI currency, second FI currency is a global currency. Okay. Yes, it is there. Now it is already 0L is there. By default 0L is already assigned, so nothing to do from our side. Now what we have to do, assignment of accounting principle. Okay, so we have created the leading ledger, and whatever is by default created by the SAP, the same was selected, and it is already assigned, that is linked with the our company code, right? So that is what we have confirmed now. Now what we have to do means assign the accounting principle. Assignment of company is different from assignment of accounting principle. Now we have to do accounting principle assignment. An accounting principle can be assigned at 3 levels. You have to remember this. This is the very important thing in ledger. In ledger concept discussion, accounting principle assignment can be done at 3 levels. You can assign the accounting principle at a ledger level. Ledger means at a 0L level or a non-leading ledger level, or accounting principle can also be assigned at a company code level, that is TUK1 level, or accounting principles for company codes, that is older existing logic. This is the third one. So when there are more than one accounting principle is there, then you have to follow accounting principles for company codes, older or existing logic. So if the assignment is done at the ledger level, that is at this level, the accounting principle is valid for all company codes of the ledger. If the same ledger is assigned to all company codes, then what will happen for all these company codes, not only for the TUK1. So there are 4 company codes available: TUK1, TUS1, TDE1, TCN1. For all these company codes, that accounting principle is valid. That is what it is saying. In case of company code assignment, alternatively, the accounting principle can be set for individual company codes, that is at company code level. This one in a ledger. If the accounting principle is not defined at the ledger level, if the accounting principle is not defined at the ledger level, you can define the same at a company code level. This is very important. The third level is the older logic, which allowed you to assign one or more accounting principles to a company code in a ledger. So in this specific case, there is an assignment at the ledger or company code level, as well as an assignment using the older logic. The older assignment does not match the new assignment. So this I will explain you now, this assignment concept. So now you have to come to this company code settings for the ledger first. Okay, so company code settings for the ledger. In this, select the TUK1, and then now come to double click on this accounting principles for ledger and company codes. Here you can see that 60 IFRS RPI GAAP IAS. So all these 3 accounting principles are already assigned. So this is called older logic. Now select this TUK1. double click on this TUK1, you can see the settings. As this is the 0L, right? So you can give gap. Functional currency, you can select it as a 10 local currency. So here you can see calendar year TUK1 posting period variant. Okay. So this is ledger 0L for a TUK company. You can save this. Company code settings for the ledger. Company code settings for the leading ledger for a TUK1 company. So data was saved. Now you can see this parallel accounting using GL accounts. What exactly is the parallel accounting? So parallel accounting using GL accounts. The parallel accounting using using additional GL accounts indicates that for this company code you are going to do parallel accounting. For this company code means TUK1. For this TUK1 you are going to maintain the two or more accounting principles using GL accounts instead of different ledgers. So this indicator has two purposes. So it increases the transparency in the system. If you set this indicator, you will most likely need to assign more than one accounting principle. Yes, more than one accounting principle. The main concept of parallel accounting is nothing but using two or more accounting principles to this combination of ledger and company code. The different accounting principles in SAP S/4HANA Finance can be represented through both ledger approach or accounts approach. We are following ledger approach. In SAP is recommending ledger approach only. So SAP recommendation is a ledger approach, not accounts approach. Even accounts approach is there, but they are recommending ledger approach. How to make this parallel accounting using GL accounts? You have to check this and then save it, because we are going to follow the parallel accounting. That is the reason we have to check this one. So till now we have created in this 0L leading ledger concept. Okay, now come to this non-leading ledger and its assignment with accounting principle. So non-leading standard ledgers, just like SAP ECC, can still be assigned to selected company codes. So just like leading ledger, a non-leading ledger also contains a full set of line items in a table AC Docker. It inherits the currency configuration of the leading ledger and can have a different fiscal year variant and open period variant. So it can have different fiscal year variant and can have different open period variant also. When a ledger is created, the main reason is when it comes to the additional ledger, right? Non-leading ledger is additional ledger. Main ledger can have one fiscal year variant, so the same cannot be valid for the local reporting. That is the reason. So for non-leading ledgers, they can have different fiscal year variant and open period variant. When a ledger is created, the system automatically generates a ledger group also. As I already explained you, whenever you have created the non-leading ledger, then automatically non-leading ledger group will be created. It is the same name. A non-leading ledger can be used for each local accounting principle. If the companies have different local accounting principles, then they can have different non-leading ledgers also. You do not need to create a ledger group for all the ledgers because the system automatically posts to all ledgers when you do not enter a ledger group in a function. Transaction code is FINC underscore ledger. So same define settings for ledgers and currency types. Even for non-leading ledger also same configuration. Okay, go back. Define settings for ledgers and currency types. You have to execute the same. Now previously we have selected this whatever is readily available by the SAP system. So the same was selected, right? But for a non-leading ledger, we have to create it through new entries. So go to the new entries. So ledger is, we have to name it as start with Z. So you can enter 1, 2 letters. So name of the non-leading ledger is Z1. So this is a non-leading ledger. The company code TUK1. So this is not a leading ledger, that's why this should be unchecked only. So this is a standard ledger, not an extension ledger. Keep it as standard ledger and standard journal as it is the, and there is no underlying ledger concept in case of standard ledgers. Underlying ledger will be applicable in case of extension ledgers. Okay, so no need to enter anything. Now save it. Define the non-leading ledger for company code UK1. So here you can see also the information. Ledger group Z1 is created only with ledger Z1. As I already explained you, so ledger group will automatically created, right? So we have created the non-leading ledger, but again ledger group with the same name was created. Okay, you can check here. Yes, continue. So now you can select this Z1 and again go for the settings. Which settings you need to do now? Company code settings for ledgers. So company code settings for the ledger. So double click on this. So there are no company code settings now, right? So what you have to do means you have to go through the new entries. Here you have to enter company code. So company code is TUK1. For this fiscal year variant, you have to select calendar year TUK1. Posting period variant, TUK1 you have to select. Okay. So accounting principle, you can give UK GAG. So that is the accounting principle. So you have to just enter GAG only. You can select the parallel accounting using GL accounts. So it is not highlighted. Can enter, you can click enter button. So GAGB is not there. You can try with GA. GBAP. So this was now changed into GBAP. Okay. United Kingdom gap, UK gap. Okay. GBAP. Select this one. So enter. So if you enter, then it will come automatically this name of the company code. So here 10 automatically comes, right? Yes. Now everything is fine. Now you can save it. Ignore warnings. These are called warnings. No problem. Ignore it. Data was saved. Now non-leading ledger is also created and its assignment with accounting principles is also done. So now come to the ledger group. So this was automatically created, right? So ledger group and its assignment with two accounting principles. So when a ledger is created, system automatically generates a ledger group. That is what we already seen with Z1 with the same name. You do not need to create a group for all the ledgers because the system automatically posts to all ledgers when you do not enter a ledger group in a function. You only have to create those ledger groups in which you want to combine several ledgers for joint processing in a function. So you can combine any number of ledgers in a ledger group. Whether it was created automatically or not, you can check. Okay, you can check from the menu path. So define ledger group. Click on this. So go to the position. Ledger group Z1 was created or not? You can check here. Yes, this was already created. Okay. So go to GBAP. So this is UK accounting gap. So this G BAP is not there. Okay, G BAP. So then you have to assign with the accounting principle G BAP. G BAP with the target ledger group is Z1. So with this assignment of accounting principle G BAP to ledger group Z1 for the TUK1. Okay, accepted. So this is ledger group and assignment with accounting principle. Okay, this was completed. This is what exactly we have done. Parallel accounting, that is assignment of accounting principle to ledger group. So when a ledger is created, so system automatically generates a ledger group, right, with the same name. For parallel accounting and for assignment of ledger through accounting principle in depreciation areas in new asset accounting, we have to assign accounting principle to the ledger group. So menu path is this one. So go to the parallel accounting, assign accounting principle to ledger groups. This is what exactly I have done. Now come to the 69, assignment of multiple accounting principles to the non-leading ledger. Go back, come to this define settings for ledgers and currency types. So assignment of multiple accounting principles to the non-leading ledger. So where is the non-leading ledger? This one, Z1. So whether accounting principle is already assigned or not, so it is not there. Or you can double check on this. Okay, it is not showing. Just go to this. GBAP is there. So now I want to remove this GBAP as of now, because I want to assign multiple accounting principles. Okay, that is the reason. So I'm just removing this and saving it. I can save on this assignment of accounting principle, not a problem. Go to this accounting principle. Here go to the new entries now. GBAP. You can enter GBAP. So also another Z1 AS. International Accounting Standards. You can enter. You can save that. So this is assignment of multiple accounting principles to non-leading ledger. Okay. Company code settings for the ledger. Currency type of free-defined currencies. In company code settings, for a particular ledger, you can select one of your own currency types you want to use in addition to the local and global currency per company code. In total, you have the option to use 8 freely defined currencies. This we have already seen. And come to this 70th topic, Appendix Ledger and its assignment with the accounting principle. So Appendix Ledger is nothing but an extension ledger. Okay, transaction code you can use it as a Principles_Ledger. Menu path is this one. So define settings for ledgers and currency types. So Appendix Ledger is a newly introduced ledger and is assigned to a leading or a non-leading ledger, and mainly you can assign it to a leading ledger. This ledger is created as an extension ledger which can point to the same underlying ledger. Here underlying ledger means either leading ledger or non-leading ledger. So always this appendix ledger depends on its leading ledger or non-leading ledger. Or you can consider even appendix ledger also as a non-leading ledger, and you can consider this appendix ledger is meant only for adjustments. So keep in your mind that this is only meant for adjustments. This ledger is created as an extension ledger which can point to the same underlying ledger. This ledger can be used for adjustments for either consolidation purpose and simulation of foreign currency valuation. Appendix ledger as extension ledger can be assigned its own period variants. That means that the standard ledger can be closed and the assigned extension ledger can be opened. So reporting on the extension ledger always includes the data of the either underlying ledger, that is data of the leading ledger or non-leading ledger, whichever is assigned to it. Extension ledger usage also includes adjustment for local accounting and foreign currency valuation. You can mainly use it for the adjustments. Keep this in your mind that for adjustment purpose only appendix ledger will be used always. It inherits the currency configuration of the leading ledger and can have a different posting period variants. So unlike leading and non-leading ledgers, it contains only those items which are posted to this ledger only. That is appendix ledger only. So that is called extension ledger. So only adjustment items will be there. So in continuation to this appendix ledger, so as this ledger takes the base from the standard ledger, because this is the underlying ledger. Standard ledger can be either GRL leading ledger or non-leading ledger NL. So this prevents multiple data footprint and significantly reduces the data redundancy because the journal entries do not need to be posted to both the appendix and standard ledger. So that is the reason only adjustment entries will be posted here, so that it stores only adjustments, not the full data. Many appendix ledgers can be assigned to the same standard ledger, but an appendix ledger cannot be assigned on top of another appendix ledger. So the appendix ledger only accepts manual postings. So that is the T code FB01L, FBB1, KB7 and KB41. It can report on all the transaction data of the underlying ledger. So we can create management views without duplicating the data from the underlying ledger. So data duplication will be reduced significantly because of adoption of this appendix ledger. Each ledger, standard or appendix, is assigned to an accounting principle. So each ledger, whether it is a standard ledger or appendix ledger, is always assigned to an accounting principle. You can also link an accounting principle manually to a ledger group that contains an extension ledger. So extension ledger can be assigned with a different posting period variant also. This means that the standard ledger can be closed while even assigned extension ledger can remain open. So even different posting period variant can also be assigned to this appendix ledger. So I will show you the appendix ledger. Go to this, so define settings for ledgers and currency types, execute this. Go to the new entries, create new one. So leading ledger here is you can create with a name called Z2. So I'm naming it. I'm naming the extension ledger as a Z2. So this is called appendix ledger. For TUK1. This is not a leading ledger, and this is not a standard ledger. This is an extension ledger. Select this one. But standard journal entries will be there. You need to change this one. Regarding underlying, I can select ledger 0L. Okay. So I'm assigning the underlying ledger as a leading ledger. This accounting principle of the ledger can be at appendix ledger level or company code level. You can do at appendix ledger level, that is at ledger level, or even at a company code level. So now I'm saving this. TUK1. So ledger group Z2 is created with only ledger Z2. Yes, group also automatically created. Now assign the company code settings for the ledger. So select this Z2. So double click on this company code settings for the ledger. Ignore warnings. So go to the company code TUK1. So TUK1 was there. So here there are different other than our company codes, all other extra company codes have been assigned to this appendix ledger by default. What you have to do means you have to remove that extra except our company codes. Okay, so you can select all. Okay, now you can select all from this edit tab. Okay, in selections, go and select this select all. So now you have selected all, right? So from this you have to exclude our 4 company codes, which starts with T. So come to the T series. So you can deselect TUS1, TUK1, TCN1, TDE1 exactly. So then you can remove, delete all other selected ones. Yes. So like this you can do. Now you can save it. So now double click on our TUK1. and this is an extension ledger. So now assign the not G gap, so IAS, International Accounting Standards. Okay, now save it. We have seen in this session is, this is the summary. We have defined and demonstrated the configuration of currency types, right? Local and global currency. Defined and demonstrated the configuration for currency conversion settings, because there are currency conversion settings we have done for company codes. Entered the exchange rates for US dollar to GBP conversion with exchange rate types above. So we have entered the direct quote. Defined and demonstrated the settings for leading ledger 0L and its assignment with the company code TUK1 and accounting principles US GAAP. Created the non-leading ledger Z1 and then demonstrated its assignment to the company code TUK1 with a different posting period variant. So for the time being, I have used the same posting period variant ZAB1, but later I can create a ZAB2 and I can assign the same for this. Okay, so wherever relevant, I will do that. Defined and demonstrated the ledger group automatically created and its assignment to the accounting principle GBAP. Assigned multiple accounting principles to the non-leading ledger at the third level, which is the older logic. Two or more accounting principles assigned here. Created the appendix or extension ledger Z2 and then demonstrated its assignment to the company codes and accounting principles also assigned just now. So with this, section 6 was completed. So you have to practice it thoroughly. So at least 2 to 3 times practice is necessary. All you have to remember is, whenever you use the finc underscore ledger, then automatically you will come on the screen wherein left side these folders will be there. Always remember that whenever you have created the ledger 0L, then select that and do the settings. So that is ledger setting, company code settings for that ledger. If you created the non-leading ledger, do the company code settings for the ledger. Again, select it, and after that you can assign the accounting principles. So these are the logic points to be remembered in your mind while solving all these. In the next session, we are going to deal with the integration of controlling area with the financial accounting.